So hello, everybody, and welcome to this panel discussion on community. My name is Laura Cullen, and I'm here on behalf of the Tales of the Cocktail Foundation. I'm the co-chair of the Eastern region in the United States of the Judging Committee, and I've also had the honor to work on the Education Committee for the past few years. This panel is about community, and we have representatives from all over the world, and I'd like to first take a moment to thank our panelists who have really juggled their schedules to be here to talk about the fantastic things that they've been doing for the past year or so. And I also wanted to thank our sponsor, Pernod Ricard, for helping us put this all together. So for the past 14 years, the Spirited Awards have acknowledged the ways in which the global drinks industry has come together to share both knowledge and compassion. And throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, I guess it was too, the industry has mobilized to support their communities locally and beyond in a variety of ways. So with this intention, the Spirited Awards Committee recognizes individuals, establishments, and organizations across 8 regions which foster a sense of community. From finding ways to feed out-of-work hospitality workers, to educating the public on cultural awareness, and the history behind specific spirits, ingredients, and more. So without any other delay, I am going to let our panelists briefly introduce themselves, and we are going to start in Beirut with our good friend. So please take it away.
Hi, my name is Jad Ballout. I'm from Beirut, Lebanon, and I'm the owner of Dead End Paradise and Electric Pink Sat.
I'm Brandon Grossutti out of Vancouver, Canada. I'm with from2.ca and Pigeon Vancouver.
Hi, my name is Julia. Thank you so much for having me. I am based out of Cincinnati. I am the co-founder of Sundry and Vice and Homemakers Bar, and I do operations at Homemakers Bar.
Hi, everybody. My name is Trinh, and I'm the owner of a bar called Alquimico in the beautiful city of Cartagena, Colombia.
Hi, everyone. I am probably the only chef here. My name is Michelle Bernstein. I am here from Miami, and I'm with Café La Trova and Sweet Liberty.
Hi, everyone. My name is Celia Schoonraad. I'm one of the 2 owners of Barbary Coast, and I'm based out of Singapore.
Ciao everyone, we are Ago Perrone
and Giorgio Bargiani
from the Connaught Bar in the heart of London.
Thank you all for the introduction, and Ago and Giorgio, I think we're going to kick it off with you in London. Lovely to see you guys. So just to start it off, we were talking about this idea of community and the sense of community and some of the things that you all have been able to do over the past couple of years. And I just wanted to ask you what it was that you were doing with the NHS and how that all came about.
Yes, thank you, Laura, first of all, to give us the chance to share our experiences. For us, community, first of all, we like to say that for us, community is starting in a smaller circle of the people around us. So first of all, our team in the bar and the colleagues within the hotel. And then once we were sure that we could be safe within our community, thanks to the support of the hotel, and we could be of support and feel our guests safe as well. That's in the very beginning. Where a little bit more solid foundation from where we could really think a little bit how we could be of support to the community outside the hotel. So in London and in UK and somehow around the world. The beginning, it wasn't easy as for everyone, but we always try to find the way to challenge our creative process, which we understood that be creative is not making the latest cocktail with the latest technique, but in reality, being creative is be able to shape something which is which is very, very useful for the people around us. In this case, adapting ourselves into situations, be able to take what every day was coming, so the changing of the law and the changing of the system, and make it try to make it somehow work for our community. So as we mentioned, first of all, we wanted to ensure that our team felt looked after. So we organize what was it, twice a week, catch up with them, where we were really trying to keep them motivated, keep them positive, on top on the game, positive. This was through internal cocktail competition, engaging with the brand training, not only for a spirits and liqueur, but also from other sort of brands related to our sector. Ourselves, we didn't want to sit on the chair and try to be hands off from the corner bar, and from especially the guests. They always follow us, believe in us, and we've been engaged right away into activities with NHS. So we've been actively in the very, very beginning. So when it was risky to go out home, we've been engaged in activity to cooking. Literally, we're doing shift as a chef, cooking about 700 meals a day for the NHS front line. So people working in NHS in the front line, also for homeless and the people that became very much in need of support. Straight after, situation evolved a little bit in a little bit more positive and way, because summer was coming, so the sun helped a lot the mindset, I guess. And also brand reassessed a little bit themselves and trying to find in their own way manners to support the community. And that's when the collaboration came into place. The first activity we made was with Deliveroo, right, Giorgio?
Yeah. We created a cocktail that could be ordered through Deliveroo, and all the proceeds were going to support the Drinks Trust, which is the biggest association and probably the most popular that support the bartenders here in the UK. And that was just the first of a few that we did in the last year and a half, 18 months.
So when you guys were going through this, I mean, it sounds like you were really trying to keep your team together and active as well. But outside of that, in terms of providing these cocktails and providing meals, where did you look for some added support?
I mean, as we always do, we wanted to stay in touch and connect with the people that we have already a relationship, you know, because sometimes asking support to somebody that you don't know might feel awkward, wrong, and not appropriate. You know, our aim has been since, I don't remember, 17th of March, like the very first day that UK went lockdown, to shift the way we were doing things, but not to stop. So if we have a relationship with brand, with other bars, with other bartenders for sure, with whoever, so even our guests, you know, because we might have a very wide range of people that visit us, because we are in a very international area of the world, but doesn't mean that we have to stop being in touch and taking care of them. So we look in a way where we always look, starting from our contact, but in a situation of needs, as the one that we went through, we used our content to boost our reach and to boost our network in order to help more and more people. At the very beginning, as Argo said, you know, the situation wasn't as clear. Luckily, we always had support from the hotel, so our mind were clean and kind of, you know, relaxed. So we took this opportunity to do whatever we can at the beginning, especially from a, like, say, moral point of view, to be a comfort for the other that they weren't in such a good position.
I think that's great. Do you think that the experiences that you've had over the past year or so are going to affect the way that you move forward with your business? Do you think it's going to change a lot, or what do you think?
Well, the businesses keep changing, and we keep evolving and adapting, and sometimes some shift happening without even realizing. For sure, in terms of attitude, mindset, and how we look at personal relationship, we have a much more, well, all of us were more dedicated into it. So there is all of us were making more time to look after each other.
Yeah.
And as you do so within your team, you create a stronger bonds. And you're a stronger team, and you perform better. You look after better your guests. So we say, as we said before, we start from our small circle, our small community, and hopefully it's spread out.
It's fantastic. Thank you guys so much. And once again, thanks for being here, and thanks for all that you've done. We're going to go from London to Singapore, talk to Celia a little bit. Celia, one of the things that really jumped out for me when I was reading your story and learning more about your story is the idea that at Barbary Coast, you're very invested in inclusion on every level. And I was just curious, how did your belief in inclusion inform your action that you took over the past year or so?
So for us, community is a place where it's a very inclusive place where you can find support. So whether that support is a place to learn, to grow, to share your woes, or share your burden of suffering. And I think from a bartender perspective, I think we can all kind of relate to that and connect to that, especially in terms of our guests. Someone comes in that has a great day or a bad day, you get to share in that with them. And in our hospitality community and in our greater community, we all share in that together as well. So for us, seeing other people in our community suffer, obviously, it was a difficult time for everyone. And I think everyone felt so strongly and so motivated to help. It's so important to support each other, especially, when we're low and when we stumble. So that was kind of a call to arms. Here in Singapore, there are a lot of vulnerable people in our industry, especially. The government support packages here don't always translate that well to people on foreign visas. So, we really wanted to make sure that we created a place where there was no questions asked, where if you could pay, what we did is we created a pay it forward system for a plate of food. So we made absolutely zero money on it, and you could pay it forward if you could afford to, and if you couldn't, you could just turn up. You didn't even have to say anything, and you'd at least have a hot meal. And we know for a couple of people that was the only hot meal they had a day during those times. And for us to be able to be there and still connect with people, that was what really, really drove us to keep doing it.
That's fantastic. And do you think that work still continues to resonate in your community? Are there programs that you're going to put forward, or have you had people come to you and talk to you about their experiences of receiving those meals, or of being a part of being able to pay it forward, for that matter?
Yeah, so to kind of reiterate what I said, we have had a couple of people come up and share their gratitude because these hot meals got them through, and obviously that really reinforces what we were trying to do. Singapore's been in and out of lockdowns a lot recently, and for us, that's a difference of about 91% revenue a week. So with this kind of uncertainty, it's not always really feasible for us to keep the program going when we're still kind of, also trying to keep our head above water. But all of the wonderful donors and brands and, private sponsors and everyone else that we worked with during the time that are still interested, we have pointed them in the direction of organizations like Willing Hearts, so who are now reaping, like the support from those same benefactors, and they're feeding a couple of thousand people a day at the moment. So we're very grateful that we were able to be part of that. And when things do stabilize a little bit more here, we definitely have every opportunity and a very good plan to continue and helping as much as we can.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think we're going to jet back over to Miami now. And Chef Bernstein, since you are our chef panelist here, I'm curious, when you're changing your business model and you're pivoting and you're starting to do to-go food, if it's not something that's sort of your core competency, like, are there any pieces of advice that you would give to someone that was trying to enter into this arena?
Be patient. It is incredibly difficult. I mean, what we did more so at Café La Trova than we did at Sweet Liberty, only because we have a bigger space there, was that, and Sweet Liberty somehow was able to stay open a little bit more than Café La Trova was. We totally pivoted at first. And because I work so much with Jose Andres from World Central Kitchen, I've always traveled with him, and I've always joined his kitchens to help other countries when disasters hit. But this was, this hit home. So we had to turn our kitchen, which was a true restaurant kitchen, into one of these kitchens that were able to not only learn how, which wasn't easy, to prepare food for so many people, but when you're given a stipend of, let's say, $1.85 to $2.15 per person to feed schools, which we were doing at first, the government forgot about these incredible schools, especially the schools of kids and adults that were mentally and psychologically challenged. And they were kind of like dropped off in the universe. And so we were there to feed them. Now, luckily, we were given a stipend, because if not, I couldn't have kept everyone working. With that $2.15, I kept my whole staff on Café La Trova, and I paid for the food, which wasn't easy. So what do you do, right? How do you, and then we had to deliver. So what do you do from going from this great busy restaurant that's known as this beautiful bar and great restaurant, as now you're making food for hundreds of thousands per day for almost nothing. The delivery was an absolute disaster at first. We were putting things in boxes. They were asked to deliver hot. The boxes were breaking through. The food was everywhere. My car, I ended up trashing. Everything was just such a lesson. Every day we were learning, but with learning comes empowerment. And so what we did was we found that all these people that were helping us, they were empowered to then not only move on with us, but now that we're opening another restaurant soon, we're able to put people in higher positions just from this $2, meal per day. It was pretty incredible. Now, we went from that to being open, and then we pivoted again, because while we were opening and doing, a lot of numbers in our kitchens, then the Surfside building came down. And so we, of course, jumped in and started feeding the families, which wasn't easy because a lot of them were religious and didn't want our food. And so then we pivoted again and started feeding the hundreds of firemen and policemen there. And it became a whole other thing. But through all this, what we've learned is, number one, how to, not buy frozen vegetables, by the way, how to learn, right? Number one, how to feed people a hot meal, which is everything. And something that I learned very early on, thank God, with Jose Andres helping me, is that when you give someone a hot meal, even if it's a bowl of rice and black beans, if it's made well, it costs nothing. And you're giving them so much love and so much passion in that bowl, plus protein, and then, turning that into meals for everything from children to adults. And then, of course, first responders. It's an amazing thing and so gratifying not only to me, but everyone that worked with me, and from there on in this community, in this city of South Florida. It's an amazing thing to watch, and so gratifying when you're giving back through food, and just a simple hot meal. And so we not only learned econometrics, we also learned how to shop better, how to empower people. We learned skills that we never would have learned if it wasn't for this. And I'm not saying I'm glad it happened, but we fought through it, and I think we came out on a really good end.
Yeah, I think there's a theme there with both you and Celia, right? A hot meal isn't just a hot meal. It's nourishing in so many more ways than just pure sustenance. So
Yeah.
That's a great story. And is there any specific examples of anything that you experienced through this where you said, wow, like we're really making a difference, or we're really connecting to this community in a way that I hadn't before?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm gonna actually say that there was this one school, they're called the WOW Center, and it is for mentally handicapped adults. And now we're a common thread now with them. And so any of these schools that we were first feeding through COVID, and we stopped, the government took over and everything's okay now, but we are now very much a part of them. And anytime they have events, they reach out to me. A lot of the students, in fact, reach out to me, and we exchange videos and love and songs and dancing, and we're very much a part of their lives, which is such a gift to us. And so yeah, we've taken so much from it, and we had no idea that these schools existed. We had no idea that these people were hungry. And now that we do, you better believe that we are going to be not only a part of their lives, but they will be a part of our lives forever.
It's amazing. Thank you for sharing that very much. I am going to take us to Colombia now, to Cartagena. Hi, Jean. It's great to see you. I'm fascinated to hear about from the bar to the farm, but I was wondering if maybe you could just start off with just a little bit about what community means to you and how it informed this project that you started.
Yeah. The community for me is not about the 50 people of the staff, it's about the 50 families, and even from the family, you have other people living, So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what was the project about. From the bar to the farm has roots from 2018, when I bought a farm of around 10 hectares in one of the most fertile region of Colombia called the Coffee Axis. And the initial idea of the farm was in the middle long-term period to support an increasing percentage of the production of fruits, plants, vegetables, and spices for the operation of the bar. So when the COVID started, the plan and the trajectory of the project completely changed. And after that was around May 15th, after a month of meeting and calls, an emergency solution was to move the staff from Cartagena to the farm located in Finlandia, more than 80 kilometers away. Oh. So from the team, a group of 20 staff members began the journey to the farm. And the idea was to survive, to live together, and to learn, and to start the project from zero.
That's amazing. So you picked your staff up from Cartagena, you moved them to the farm. You all lived there together on the farm?
Yeah, we live and we had a lot of fun. We learned a lot together. Even usually you don't know that much everybody in a big team like this, and we really had an amazing moment because we stayed there for more than 4 months.
Wow. And what were you producing? I mean, were there people that had, I'm assuming that not everyone on your staff knew how to farm or had the skills that they needed? I mean, how did you make that work?
So why did I do that? As in almost every single country in the region, in Latin America, we didn't have any help from the government. So the project was the way I could take care of them, you know? And the bar team, when we went there, was divided into two groups, the construction and the agriculture, because we had to build the team's home. We didn't have any roof over there. Wow. So the other team was involved in all the agriculture aspects, you know, of the program, including an apiary for the production of organic honey, the construction of greenhouses in bamboo, a reforestation project with more than 1,200 trees, native trees, and we planted around 2,000 fruit trees that will serve like the demand of the bar. And we also planted vegetables, aromatic herbs, and we have also a seed bank that guarantees the perpetuity of native species. So the team has all committed their own personal development while adapting to the dynamic of agriculture. They explore a level of community, and the whole team started their workday at 6 a.m. So for bartenders, that was kind of complicated at the beginning, and so that represented a massive life change for them. And while we were at the farm, the diets were veggie and organic to provide like a deeper perspective, you know, of the connection with the people, the farmers, and all the whole project. And as well, we practice sports, and we create like a positive mental and physical impact on the team. For example, one of the guy, he lost 30 kgs in 4 months, only changing the food and practicing, I mean, physical activities.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And now, are you back in Cartagena now?
Yeah, we went back to Cartagena in October 2020, and since then we opened step by step. But at the beginning, I kept like part of the team at the farm because I didn't know if I would like need them at this moment. So, but yeah, we are open. Right now, I'm not in Cartagena. I'm in Greece because I'm doing kind of a tour around Europe.
Fantastic. And are you using what you're producing on the farm in your bar? Is it going out to other areas of the community? What's going on with the actual production now?
Okay, so for the fruits, we still have to wait because we started planting very small trees, so that will give us fruits in like 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. And the vegetables and the aromatic herbs, we transform them from the farm, and we send it to the bar.
That's fantastic. Well, it sounds like a pretty amazing project, and I can only imagine that that's going to yield for future. Will you think you'll do more pilgrimages back down there with some of your other team members? Do you think that you'll repeat that? Yeah.
Yeah, because when I'm in Colombia, I spend more than 50% of my time at the farm, you know, and I see people living there. And I mean, it's not only the farm. It's if my team, they want to go on holidays and to know the whole project and how we keep doing everything, they can do it anytime.
It's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I think we're going to
thank you.
Fly back over to the US now and talk a little bit with Julia. Hi, Julia, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
Good. So I want to learn a little bit more about Homemakers Bar and what you all did there, just in terms of how you just kept in touch with your community, what inspired you to get involved and to give back. What did that look like for you? What was that journey like?
Yeah, so Homemakers Bar, really one of its core concepts since day one is community and connecting. And we hadn't even been open a year when everything shut down. But, you know, our idea of community is people working towards a similar goal of inclusivity and growth for the greater good, for the community, for the local community, as well as, you know, beyond. So, we love doing cocktail educations. We love cocktail enthusiasts. So one of the ways that was important for us to connect was to continue to do that. So we started doing weekly cocktail tutorials, you know, geared towards people in the bar and restaurant community, but also towards those who are typically want to go imbibe in a restaurant in their third space, which they weren't allowed to do anymore. So we started doing that weekly, which opened up so many doors nationally and globally. We were able to connect and do cocktail collaborations with people all over the place, which was really special. So I got to meet people that I would have honestly never been able to meet before. For our team, for our staff, we created also a weekly hangout, so live sessions. We went live on Instagram and on Facebook, where we would have one of our team members each week come and make something or teach something to whoever was hanging out with us. So we focused a lot on educations and sharing knowledge as much as we could. We really did utilize the social outlets as much as possible, which worked really, really well for us. We were able to connect that way. So we really just, we wanted to, and then locally here, like in Cincinnati specifically, most everything, you know, had been shut down. We were so new, we knew we wanted to stay open. It was important for us. So we pivoted, we went, being a craft cocktail bar first and just offering snacks was our original model, but we switched because we weren't allowed to serve cocktails anymore. We switched completely to serving food, because we know that's the best way. That's like comfort. Food is like so comforting. So we switched to making mac and cheese and like anything warming that felt like home. And we have these vintage Christmas lights in the windows, and it was so important for us to keep those on the whole time we were open as like a little beacon, like we're still here, like the community still lives on, even though, you know, it was really quiet. I'm sure this happened all over in the downtown area. Each city just became really, really desertous. So it was important for us to stay just like the little beacon that was still there running. But also for us, we really wanted to be, I mean, I have to say the community here in Cincinnati is so incredible. I can't imagine being anywhere else. For me, it was just so heartwarming because the whole community came together. So it was important for us to be more like the connector. So there were people serving food to, you know, the bar and restaurant industry. And so how can we help them and help them be a platform for them to share that with more people? So we really acted like connectors. You know, we were offering water to people in the neighborhood and anybody else who was doing something, trying to give back any way they could. We wanted to just promote that that way.
That's fantastic. And it's got to be frightening enough to be in your first year of business, but to be in your first year of business and then be shut down. I love the idea of your little vintage lights being your beacon, because I think sometimes it's a simple thing, just walking down the street and seeing a light on that can really change somebody's day around. So that's great. And thank you for sharing that. This idea of connecting and to your greater community at large. And were you able to do that primarily? Like, how did people even really know you were there? Because you didn't really have the opportunity, right, to connect. How long were you open before you had to shut down?
Yeah, we were open, I think 7 months.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it really was through social media. I have to say, I mean, just being there consistent weekly, we were able to reach so many people that one, didn't even know who we were. Two, honestly, having those lights on in terms of like the community here, you know, people would walk by and be like, oh, what is this place? You know, so it was really important for us to use any outlet we could. And collaborating with others was another way that we were able to kind of get the word out that we were still here and we're here for you, and we can hopefully we can bring a little bit of joy. So we were able to collaborate not just with people in the bar and restaurant industry, I mean, local nonprofits, other small businesses, branding companies. The community really did come together here, and, you know, anytime there was an opportunity or somebody looking to give back in any sort of way or do any sort of event to just bring joy to people in their homes, we jumped on board. And so we were making, I mean, we did whatever they needed, you know. So if you need a cocktail mixer, sure, we'll make that. If you need a snack, we'll make that. What do you need? Do you want us to do a little cocktail tutorial, whatever it is? We were really able to reach a broader audience just by collaboration.
That's fantastic. I love that. Thank you so much. I am going to flip to Canada now, where it is very early. So thank you, Brandon, for being with us. You know, we talked a lot about community and feeding people and delivery and pivots and all of those kinds of things. And one of the things that you were probably felt compelled and forced to create during this was from to. And I am in awe of you, and I applaud you, because I know that some of the fees that were going on when this first started were really eye-opening for a lot of people. When did you know that you needed to create from to?
It was an interesting time. I would even back up all the way to almost like January 2020, where it was like we were seeing a bit of xenophobia starting to unfold in Vancouver. So my local kind of family dim sum restaurant, you saw week after week less and less people, and you could see it just starting. And so we started to put together a plan of how we would. I own a restaurant as well. How we would actually look to switch that up, and how, you know, if cases got to this, what will we do, in all these contingency plans. And as it looked quite obvious that things were going to go sideways, we started signing up for delivery contracts with Uber and the likes, pretty much everyone. And we had never done delivery out of our restaurant before. It was something new for us. And we kind of got to this place of seeing the contracts for the first time. And we'd known about it, but I never knew it was that bad until we actually started to execute. And, you know, at that point, before legislation was coming in, certain cities, certain states and provinces, countries put in capping of fees. But prior to that, it was 30 to 35%. I looked at my industry, I looked at my city, and I looked at my community and my neighborhood, and saw that we were all going to be in very bad financial shape very quickly if this unfolded the way that I thought it was, where we would be truly dependent on that. And I would say that's about March 1st, 2020. And then I started very simply by just, you know, small stuff, phone line, couple drivers, 2 restaurants. Well, we started with Pigeon, and then a couple restaurants in our neighborhood literally replicated their POSs and merchant accounts on our thing. And then when it really got bad, that's where, you know, I put together a team and a couple other people that come from delivery and come from e-com, like on logistics platforms. And we formed a company, and then we were end to end by May 2020. We actually had a complete full e-com solution to a driver app. Like, we just went crazy, and just, you know, I was working basically every day, all the while trying to make sure that my staff at Pigeon felt comfortable and kept everyone employed, and also use them as drivers as well to try and have employment and make sure that everyone felt safe and secure in their employment. So we started with 6 restaurants in a small neighborhood in Vancouver called Gastown, which is kind of where all the cocktail bars are and some of the better restaurants. And then slowly but surely just kind of kept building out to the point that, you know, at the peak, we've been through various lockdowns in British Columbia and Canada here. And, you know, every single time that there was a shutdown, it was like, oh, there goes the onboarding. And, you know, we would switch our whole, like we'd reopen Pigeon and get into this crazy busy part. And then the shutdown would occur. I'd take my entire staff, they'd start onboarding restaurants into From Two. And, you know, we're now like a year and a bit later, we're sitting about 100 restaurants. We have 650 drivers. We've gotten to the place now that we actually saw that we were affecting change and keeping some lights on, and not, you know, I know that, you know, it's, you know, it's, the thing for me is I could see my entire community was hurting, and I felt like I was in a unique position. I had some technical experience back in the day and used to program. And I thought, you know, this is my way to spend my year to try and help those that I care and love about in our industry. And when you see, you know, your friends on the verge of losing everything that they've, you know, this is a risky industry in the best of times.
Yeah.
And when you know that you can be just a small part of maybe making that possible and helping people through, that's kind of where we got to. So,
yeah. When you were building this model out, I mean, I guess preliminarily, the idea was probably just to keep costs down, right? Because at 30% or 35%, you're not saving your business. You're basically just giving it away to somebody else, right? So how did you, I mean, it sounds like you were fortunate that you had some people that had some e-commerce experience and that were tech savvy, but how did you branch out to other restaurants in your community to get them on board with this platform?
Yeah, so we built it with the idea of making sure that it worked for other people as well. So, you know, and the goal, and still to this day, so we're a year and a half in, and we have not charged any commission to any restaurants in Vancouver. Like everyone that's on our platform, it's 0%. We may introduce a fee because we have to make this long-term sustainable, like 5.5 or something along those lines. But the idea was to be that lifeline and know that at the very least that we had their back. And what we found, what was interesting is, you know, during these times, and everyone here that's talked prior is just inspiring and kind of amazing. And you can see that sense of community of everyone trying to help one another. And, you know, this goes down to your wineries, your farms, all your local suppliers, you know, how you're purchasing things. And I think what we got out of this time was we need to understand that we need to go to Bill's restaurant or Bill's corner store or Jane's this, because these are the things that directly influence our ability to have healthy local communities, and that we know their kids and things along those lines, versus this anonymous click into an Uber or, you know, into an Amazon or into a Walmart or whatever these gigantic multinationals are. We need to start thinking about how we take care of our team, like Jean taking his whole team to a farm. It's incredible. And this is where we need to, this is, I hope, the lesson of COVID, that we all look at how we lift each other up and work together as a community and support each other's small independent businesses, so there's something left and we're not run by 6 corporations in 20 years. And that it seems to be the trajectory. And so this, when we were looking at From Two, it was just like, it was this microcosm of this macro issue of how do we make it so that we can support that community and keep that cost low, and help raise up people that we know really, really well and be a part of their, not success, but let's just call it survival.
Yeah, I think it's a commonality of what we're talking about in terms of community, of when you're in the bar and restaurant industry, you're plugging along and you're really just going day to day because the volume of your life is so heavy. And in some ways, when you're forced to stop and really take a look at what's going on around you, it makes you, I think, acutely aware of where you can help yourself and also others. And that's a really beautiful common theme of what we've been all talking about today. And it is really inspiring, all of you. I'm just sitting here like, I want to do all of the things that you guys are doing. So I'm going to drive for you. I'm going to go plant some fruit. I'm going to come to Julia's place. And even if it's just a matter of plugging in the string of lights, I want to, do all of the things. But so thank you so much, Brandon, for sharing that. And I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic what you're doing. So we're going to shift a little bit in topic. We're going to go back to Beirut to our friend Jad, who was the first to introduce himself. And I think, Jad, your story is really unique in that COVID was one thing. I'll let you tell your story of what happened to your business. And I think in your case, and please feel free to correct me if I'm not getting this right, it's not as much as of what you were able to give out to the community. It's how the community came together to really support you in a time that you really needed it. And I'm wondering along those lines, if you can really just start with what community means to you and tell us your story a little bit and how it's played out. But first you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. So community for me is like like-minded people. They share same passion, same interest, and they get together, support each other. And I'm very glad that I'm part of this this global bar community around the world, because in August 4, actually, after the Beirut explosion, we lost our business, we lost our bar, and nobody looked after us. No government, no insurance could cover or support us. So only our friends and our community, bar community from around the world, they supported us. They created a lot of fundraising event around the world for us. And yeah, without them, without their support, we'll be jobless, hopeless, and without business, actually, because our bar was almost total lost. Yeah, and was very hard year for us, but I'm glad that we could stand up again because all the support we get. And now we open another bar, which is called Dead End Paradise. So we were out of business for 8 months until we find the location, we build the concept, and also with the lockdown and all of that. And now the bar is doing really well, and it make a big success in Beirut, busy every day. And yeah, regardless the situation we are facing now with the economic crisis and all the issues in Lebanon with lack of electricity, lack of gas, we still could make our business profitable and always find solution for all what we are facing.
That's incredible. I mean, just what you've been able to overcome. And I'm curious, with all of the other external factors that you have affecting your business. So, we're all talking about COVID, but you literally lost your brick and mortar business to a bomb. You're dealing with lack of resources. You're dealing with an economy that's faltering. What is going on in Beirut with your fellow bar and restaurant owners? Are you coming together? Are you helping each other out? Like, how are you navigating all of these external factors?
Yeah, so of course now it's a time to support each other. So everyone get together. Let's say if we find a source of, yeah, because now at the moment from the government we don't have electricity. So now every bar start to count on himself and buy his own generator. And we are struggling to find the fuel for our generator to keep our doors open. So actually many bars, they had to close because just simply there's no electricity. And yeah, for us, we open, there's for 3 days, maybe there's only 2 bars could open in Beirut, or 3 bars. And during this day, we open our doors for everyone. And we announced it that if someone wanna just come and chill, hang out or charge his phone, charge his laptop, work or something, our doors are open and they don't need to order anything. They just can come use the electricity from the bar because anyway it's running. And yeah, we like to support the people around us and support the people of the city also. yeah, so it's a really hard time, and it's really hard to make a business in this situation. But at the end, like for us, we take it as a learning experience, and there's nothing. We never arrive to a point where there's no solution for any problem.
Yeah, that's just the idea of being one of the few places that actually have electricity and offering up a haven for other people that need some place to go. It's kind of everything that we're talking about. And really, my hat is off to you, and I commend your strength and your resilience and the fact that you're here doing it every day, still with a smile on your face. I think that's fantastic.
Of course. And even the people of Beirut, like our customers, they tell us, please don't close. So it's the only place like kind of escape for the city. So it's the only place we come, we have fun, we forget a little bit what we are living, because all the houses also, most of the time, they don't have electricity. So when they go out, they can just sit, charge their phone, enjoy a drink, conversation, and go out a little bit of this stress. So yeah, I said our bar, Dead End Paradise. It's first, the name is inspired from our daily life, because you see in Lebanon, it's a dead end, but at the same time it's paradise. So people sometimes they are sad, but when they go out, they party, have fun, and drink. So it's inspired also from our daily life. And to open the bar again in Beirut, we wanted to do something for the city, because we say it's not, we're not gonna accept like to lose our bar and to just go away. So it was the kind of statement: we are here, we are not afraid, and our new bar is closer to the explosion site actually, because we had to change location also. So we say it's our statement that we are still here, we're gonna rise again, and we open our bar again, and this is what happened.
It's incredible. I think there's no better way to end a conversation on community when you talk about building something from the roots and refusing to give up and holding your ground and making sure that your immediate team around you is supported, but that also that support goes out into the greater community. And I don't know that anybody builds community the way the hospitality industry does. It's an extraordinary group of people, not just on this panel, but out there, hopefully listening. And I commend all of you again, and thank you so much for everything that you've done, for everything that you will do, and for taking the time to speak to the Tales of the Cocktail Global community. Thank you all so very much. I'd also encourage you all to tune in to the Tales of the Cocktail programming. It'll be the week of September 21st. If you haven't downloaded our app so that you can watch it, please do. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye and thank you all so very much.